This is Senior Moments on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Curtis Woods with Joel Green, and we're talking about issues in aging, your financial options with Janelle Percy, financial advisor with Edward Jones, and Candy Watson, our reverse mortgage specialist. Let's pick up where we left off. Joel, you had an interesting comment about goals.
We were talking with Janelle about goals, and do you see in your business, Janelle, that people may have multiple goals, or can they only do one thing at a time?
Oh, no, there's definitely people with multiple goals. A lot of people are preparing for retirement and also trying to save for college education, maybe talking about saving money up for a house as well. So a lot of different goals.
And you can accommodate that with an investment plan?
Exactly. That's where we prioritize the goal, see which one's most important for them. And basically, like you were talking about earlier with the budget, dividing up certain amount of money that they can put forward and then figuring out what percentage needs to go towards each goals. If it's a shorter term goal like college, kind of figuring out how much they want to put towards that. There's also looking at the different resources available too, because you can borrow money for college, you can't borrow money for retirement. So looking along those lines too, prioritizing the goals is a very important thing.
And I think along the way, you'll probably give them financial advice as they're setting those goals, because some people may have really lofty goals that might be beyond what they can make a plan. So I assume, would that be something you can kind of help them structure a goal around something that's attainable?
Exactly. And talking about the college, for instance, instead of maybe funding 100% of their child's education, we can look at maybe funding 50%, at least having a portion of that college savings taken care of. And also what we do is we sit down with them at least once a year and revise those goals, because the market might change, what their current situation with how much they're earning might change. They might start making more money where they want to put more money away towards those goals. So it's not something that's set in stone, say, hey, this is our plan, we're not going to change it. We revisit it all the time and make changes as necessary.
And on those goals, it could be probably even more complicated with the adult children that may have children or seniors in the community where they have to make a goal that fits not only, like you mentioned, the college fund for their own children, but a goal for their parents. Do you work with adult children that may have senior parents that want to put a goal together using the funds that senior parents may have, or merging those goals together as one?
Definitely. We call them the sandwich generation. They have the kids going to college, or it may have be out of college but not moved out of the house yet. Now they're caring for elderly parents. We definitely sit down and talk to them about the goals for that. And there's different options as well. Once you get to a certain age, the long-term care insurance might become too expensive, but there's other options that, as far as making investments with extra cash available, that we would talk to them about at that point.
Give us an example, Janelle. Think about some of the clients that you presently have, and give us an example of some of the things that are incorporated in their financial plan.
Well, I have clients that are, 75, retired, and are dealing with their spouse that needs to have home health care and someone to take care of them for that. So that's a need for them. He's still working, but they still need additional income coming in to cover that expenses of taking care of his wife. I have people that are, looking forward to retiring, trying to set up the money so they can retire and go into their motorhome and travel the country. So there's a wide variety of individuals that I have as clients.
And a financial goal is there. I know that with some companies there's kind of a minimum amount of investment that they require. Is that the case with your company as well?
No, we don't have any minimum requirement. And I'm really glad that we don't, because like we were talking about earlier, there are 30-something people that are just starting out, and I really like to deal with them and work with them because they are looking for the future, and that's a great time to get them started with investing, but they don't have the money to put away right away. So I'm glad that we don't have a minimum, that we can work with anyone who's seriously interested in investing.
And I think that's a good thing. And now that you've kind of set the preoccupation of people thinking, well, I don't have enough. You can make a plan for any budget. Once the person initiates a plan, how do they monitor their success rate of achieving those plans along the way?
And that's where we sit down at least once a year. And it's also client dependent. If they want to come in every month, they can do that as well. And go over their goals. We have a great software that we can put that information into there. We can also put, let's say, in 10 years you want to buy a house, so you need a $20,000 down payment. Right. We can put that into the plan and show how it's affected. We can add Social Security, any pensions they might have, different housing if they have rental income coming in, how all this fits together, and we adjust that and monitor it every year.
Great. So then the people that you work with have that option to come sit with you monthly, annually, or they can even go online and check the status of their investments.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Flexibility seems to be very important in what you're talking about. Is that true?
That is true, and since I used to be in the Air Force and flexibility is the key to air power, it's also the key to investing.
I'm sure it is, because things change with people, don't they?
Oh, it can change day to day, so it's definitely, like I said, it's very fluid. It's not something that's set in stone. We're always talking about it, monitoring it, and it's client dependent. If you want to talk to me once a year, I'll do that. If you want to talk to me once a month, I can do that for you as well.
And when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about with Janelle about financial planning. And do you have a financial plan in place? Well, if you don't, you probably need to. Stay with us, and we'll tell you what you could and should do. You're listening to Senior Moments on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
I'm Curtis Woods here with Joel Green on Santa Clarita Station, AM 1220 KHTS. Do you have a financial plan in place? Why do you and your family need one? Our guests today, Candy Watson and Janelle Percy, can answer that question. And Janelle, jumping back to what we were just previously discussing, let's just assume I'm coming into your office first time. Where do we start with that conversation?
So basically what I sit down and talk to you about is kind of where are you in your life? Do you have a 401k with a current job? Are you saving money towards that? And then finding out what your goals are. Most people's primary goal is retirement, but talk to you also about college education for your kids, making sure you have life insurance. That's a big issue that I like to cover and make sure that people have in place as well, because that's really important. If you start on a financial plan but don't have life insurance, you can derail that plan easily if something happens to you. So talk about kind of what you have set up already, and then going forward towards what your goals are. We have what's called a risk tolerance questionnaire to make sure that I'm putting you in investments that are applicable to how risky you want to be. So it asks you questions about if certain things happen with the market, how would you feel? Right. We find out how risky you want to be, and then also based on where you are in your time horizon. So if you're younger, you can afford to be more risky because you have a longer time horizon. As you're closer to retirement, you want to be more conservative because you don't have the time to weather the ups and downs of the market. So looking at that, and then we also have a retirement goal, if that's what we're talking about, saying, okay, this is how much I already have saved. This is how much I expect to get in Social Security if you're going to get any pensions. And then the biggest one is, okay, what is that goal? What does that end goal look for you? Is it spending $8,000 a month? A lot of people, if it's far away, they don't really know what that goal is. So look at about 80 to 100% of what your current expenses are is a good kind of rough number to start you on that plan. As you get closer to retirement, we can refine that number for you. And then that can give us, this is how much you need to save. And then we can look at your options, okay? To make that number, this is how much you have to put away a month, or this is the age you want to retire at. Maybe you might have to work a couple more years. Just looking at the different options as far as what that goal looks like.
Is that kind of setting expectations?
Exactly.
Right.
A lot of people, if you're going to retire, you might want to spend $10,000 a month, but is that a realistic expectation? Okay, this is what saving looks like now and how much you're going to need to put away. And most people, if they're doing a 401k that matches 3%, that's not going to be adequate enough to take you to your retirement goals. So making sure that people are aware of that. and giving them the different options and the knowledge now instead of waiting till closer to the end when it's harder to make those adjustments.
And on that note, let's bring in Candy Watson, a reverse mortgage specialist. So, Candy, I'm somebody that has a home, and I need cash, and I come to you and I say, Candy, I need cash. Help me out here. What are you going to do?
Well, first of all, with a reverse mortgage, or you could call them now home equity conversion mortgages.
What is that called?
So that home equity conversion mortgages.
Okay.
So that is a reverse mortgage. So to be able to qualify for a reverse mortgage, HECM, home equity conversion mortgage, you have to be 62 years of age and older, and own a home. It has to be your primary property. And we can discuss your options, having to look at the age, and if you have a couple, it's going to be guided on the youngest age. How much equity they have in the property, which means we look at the value of the property, and the option they take, the finance option, either an adjustable option or a fixed rate option. So we look at that.
Is a short time ago, well, actually not such a short time ago looking back, but years ago, the term reverse mortgage had a lot of very negative connotations. And people got themselves, the consumer got themselves in a lot of trouble and was taken advantage of by very unscrupulous people that did that.
That's what I hear that almost daily
sure.
from people that I talked to, and I educate them, and that's my primary goal, is to educate. I don't sell this. I want to educate. It's my passion to educate the seniors for this option and tell them exactly what a reverse mortgage is today. In 1988, Reagan signed the bill in for HUD to take this over and to regulate it.
And was that a good thing?
A very good thing. Very, very good thing. So the first reverse mortgage was done in 1989. So ever since, they've changed. Anything that changes, it's basically for the good of the senior. It's for their protection when guidelines are changed and things like that. So it is very, very safe. But I will say it's not for everyone. It's not one size fits all, but
a reverse mortgage is very much part of a financial plan, ladies. Would
I'd
you
look
say
at that as, yes, I do. It can be, because a person can look at it as a last resort, and I hear that all the time. Let's look at our finances out there, our investments out there, and because I look at reverse mortgages as an asset. And you could put a financial tool, which a reverse mortgage line of credit, in place, and just let it a line of credit and let it grow over time. So you're actually building your wealth to have your borrowing power later on in life if you need it. You can do that.
Again,
also,
looking at it in terms of a financial plan, it really is very much of a plan B or a fallback should things perhaps not work out for you at that stage of your life.
Yeah, I think it's. I know Janelle, her feelings about it. I don't know, but you can team in. But
definitely. If they don't have investments available, people's biggest asset might be the equity in their home. If they're planning on staying in it for the rest of their life,
right.
A reverse mortgage is a way to tap into that equity.
Right. Yeah. Without having a mortgage payment required.
And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that with Candy Watson and Janelle Percy. The subject today on Senior Moments is issues in aging. Your financial options. We'll be back after the break. You're listening to Senior Moments on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.